So let me start with this. I would like to say that CrawlQ is really for generating highly personalized insights, stories, and answers on your target audience, and it's really focused on the convergence. What problem we are solving in the market? So if you have seen in the market, like everyone want to go online, and the global conversion rates are dismally low at 2.35%. It's very, very low, all the website conversions, and I am including also social media and other types of conversions that we have generally through content marketing. So the quick hint here is product development, marketing, and sales. Of course, they work in silos without a feedback loop, and I will elaborate on it in a moment more detail. The most important problem that we see in the market, right? And I categorize them or break down into 3 steps. The people are not focusing on a specific niche audience. And what happens is the problem solution urgency level that one person has in one niche is quite different from the other. Also, if you see traditionally the way marketing work, everyone think about the funnel, about the website, about the SEO. It is very hard for you to test rapidly different funnels or different target audience. And everyone is saying that you should focus on one niche, one funnel, but it's very hard to test that first, and also do the test like you wanted to set up different messaging, or you wanted to test rapidly your value proposition. You will easily waste months of time and stuck with a particular funnel or a strategy that is very hard to come out of it once you have started this. The other problem that you see generally in the market, everyone is talking about customer journey, customer maps, like identify your customer journey. You have marketing funnel and nice visualization, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. But there is no practical way in the market, like how to exactly map this customer journey based on the insights, data that you have. Now, this problem that I segmented into 3 steps is actually causing massive failures in the industry. A lot of businesses are failing. A lot of products, they are not able to see the door of the customers. And consequences of is that you have poorly defined audiences. Audiences are not correctly defined. Product profiles are not correctly defined. And it take a long time to market and high cost of your customer acquisition. It's also too much focus on the SEO and the traffic without understanding the conversion, content strategy, and what results is most of the time dull website, low engagement, lack of sales processes. And also finally the consequence of this is you're not able to get those emotional triggers while you sell something online, because your buyer is passing through a journey from unaware to aware to more like evaluation stage. And because of this inability to not able to map your customer journey, it's very difficult to get those triggers or signals, and this result in higher customer acquisition cost because conversions are low. And if you are able to tap on that resources, those triggers, you can definitely increase the convergence. Now, 3 solutions that comes with CrawlQ is research, automation, and text mining. So CrawlQ really allows you to deep dive at one single person. It is start with one single person. I call this person Fred. Fred is acronym for fears. The person who has fears, he wants results, he has expectations, he has desire. This is my ideal customer avatar. I just name it like Fred. But main idea here is to start with one single person and then use AI insights to create your perfect ideal customer avatar. This is step 1 solution for these problems. Then once you have this perfect customer avatar, this representative image, you wanted to automate this. So you wanted to automate in a way that this avatar can directly link with your content strategy, business strategy, and you can test different audiences, you can test value proposition, you can test messages, you can test your business strategies and evolve it over a period of time. So this is how I see the automation of this thread. First, like visualization of this thread, identification of this Fred as perfect customer avatar using AI. Once you establish this, visualize this, make an identity of this, virtual identity of this, you automate this Fred. Once you automate this Fred get start more and more sort of messaging, right messaging through the text mining process. So we have our in-house proprietary mechanism to understand users input and mine the text. So I call it text mining. And then using this representative Fred and the AI behind it, you're able to quickly mine a lot of insights and able to map your customer journey. You're able to create different A/B tests of different audience tests. So CrawlQ allows you to quickly set up your content goals from different stages of the funnel. Because we have identified the visualization or identity, virtual identity of this spread, and we have automated it with a lot of insights, right? It becomes easy to set up different audience tests or pull those emotional triggers because we have perfect control on the AI. It's not like a random, and I will explain this. This is how CrawlQ is different from rest of the tool in the market, because the way we identify the Fred and the way we automated these insights, it allows the full control for you as a business to guide the AI towards the perfect message to the Fred. And that's the difference. So I would say, unlike any other our hype Mickey Mouse AI writers, we aim to be go-to provider of AI-powered audience research. And with this unique proposition, we are claiming or guaranteeing 100% unique, high-quality content with CrawlQ. And this is a bold statement, but this should already be proven or should be proved if you are using CrawlQ. Now, we started, of course, in 2019 with our beta version. We launched this in Web Summit. Then from this, we worked whole year in 20 with refinements, pivoting. And this year, of course, we launched in March this year in on AppSumo first time, and then there was a second launch. Now, for next step for us is to really become go-to leader in AI-driven market research and automation of the content. And when I say automation of the content, I really mean the automation of this representative image or avatar of your ideal customer, and then really making sure that you are talking to this ideal customer avatar in a way which help you to test your value proposition, this content goals, in a way which help you to test the different journey of this ideal customer avatar. So I'm sure it will become more and more visually clear as we develop more assets. And I think for affiliates also, it's important to understand this value proposition, how to explain this. But I really would like to understand that this communication become more and more sharper as we work towards it, right? Again, CrawlQ was conceptualized as my frustration being product design engineer. I'm not coming from a background of salesman or a marketer or a copywriter, but my goal or background was a product design engineer, and I was missing feedback loop from product development to marketing and sales. And this frustration really started this investigation, like how to understand your target audience better when you're developing your product. Because I sort of went into the problem solution space deeper, I found that it was possible for me to identify certain set of traits, and these set of traits I was able to incorporate in our journey. So this somehow on the journey part. And then I have joined by Vinita. Hi, Vinita. Welcome to this webinar. I have Naz, who is also affiliate. So you can interrupt me anytime, Naz and Vinita, about these questions. I just started and I'll jump through the demo of the tool as well. So of course, we have quite good opportunity here to sort of understand first CrawlQ market, what it does, how it do definitely with respect to other tools as compared to other tools. And I definitely need your help here. And I'm willing to spend like a lot of time, especially on these webinars, which is completely devoted for the affiliate, and this will really help us to get more eyeballs. So definitely the market is growing. There is a special need to stay niche relevant, because nowadays everyone want to go online, right? When everyone want to go online, everyone want to get the attention. And when you want to get attention, you have to be really, really relevant. Doesn't matter if you're writing SEO article, if you're doing a podcast or YouTube content, any type of content you create, you have hardly 3 seconds to grab the attention of the busy people. They are busy everywhere. They are on the gym. They are doing walk outside. You need to grab their attentions. And in order to grab their attention, it's very, very important that we understand and educate the people who we are working to be niche relevant, how to identify that niche, how to stay relevant to that niche, and how to add value to that niche. And of course, our adaptability towards data driven approach, towards AI driven approach, and ability to communicate in a way which people understand that AI is not here to replace them, but AI is here to add value to what they are doing. So most of the time I get questions someone was saying, hey, your tool is going to replace my job, and I'm trying to explain them. And I think Vinita also came up with very, very good example last time when she said LinkedIn 10-year back was launched, right? And this everyone on the HR fraternity was afraid that LinkedIn will replace their job. But now see who is getting the maximum value out of it. Those people who are recruiting, right? They are getting the maximum value out of it in their talent acquisition process. They are hiring via LinkedIn almost every day. Similarly, all the copywriter, content creator, business, entrepreneur, marketer, sometimes they're afraid that maybe AI is overly used. But the way we wanted to use AI in CrawlQ is really human assisted, human driven. You are almost controlling the AI inside CrawlQ in a way which really control it to produce the desired output that you want, along with the Fred, as you move the Fred along the different stages of his journey. Now, of course, we have generated a lot of traction. These numbers, I won't go into detail who we are for. So it's also important when you talk as an affiliate to different customers. Basically, we are targeting two segments. One is on the individual level, so SMB solopreneurs, startup founders, growth consultant, niche copywriters, and B2B content professionals. These are the people who can really use the tool and get their job done for themselves, right? For themselves. It is important because of course they are using different tools and they get all the time distracted. But if we can really convince them the value of staying niche focused and create content which is specific to their target audience, we can tap in a lot of this segment, which is either solopreneur or startup founders. On the other hand, we are also targeting to growth and SaaS marketing agencies or bigger consulting houses where they already have in-house consultants, copywriter, business strategists. And this really helps because the ROI in the agency is huge. And I think Nas is coming also from agency background, I'm sure. But ROI is huge because you're working with different sets of clients, right? When you work with different set of clients, you need to set up one client good at one time. Then you can just repeat and rinse this process every time you have a new client. So of course, market size and other things will be a bit boring. On the competitor side, I just wanted to make sure that this is my own view and understanding on this landscape without undermining any of the capabilities that exist in the market based on our in-house research. The way we position CrawlQ is unique because what we are trying to achieve with this is we have this content creation space and we have the market research space. We have uniquely linked these two things together. So like identification of the persona, like virtual Fred, automation of this Fred using AI Athena. And AI Athena is a linking pin between this Fred and the content that you wanted to create. And I'm not saying only content, but also sort of your business strategy, content goal, and these together when combined or connected via AI, Athena, then we are in a very unique place in the market. And I think that should be sufficient here without going into too much detail. Again, how it works. So I'll jump into the tool very soon, but you have market research. So here you start with your basic understanding of one person that you know in your market. You can ask a question directly to this person, or you can go on a coffee date. But this is very, very simple, 4 or 5 questions, your niche, sub niche, vertical, and then 2, 3 line about their pain point. This is just rough starting point. Once you are done with this market research, then you are in an automated manner answer more questions. So you just need to supply some seed ID, and then the tool answer the remaining questions itself. And then there is this space content automation. So if you're also working with some scripts and sales, you can combine these market research, sales copywriting scripts, and your insights, because once you approach your initial answers, tool is able to generate more insights around it, AI driven insights. And these AI driven insights help us to start from this one customer and make sure that we abstract the information, or we create the information around this one person in such a way that we have the virtual thread. We start with one real live person, and using these insights and other data that we get, right, we are making a virtual image. And you can optionally also add all the search intent data that is coming from Google. You can also add your own URLs to it. So when you add the URL, you are injecting evidences, scientific information, well-proven facts, numbers also in this process. So you have the niche data. Optionally, you also have the search intent data, and you have your own favorite URL that you all can inject into the training of Athena. Once you power up the Athena, you unlock your market research first category, and then you're ready to sort of open the door for AI content creation. Inside the AI content writer, there are different editor modes. You can specifically write for SEO, or only for market research, or combination of your market research, that means talking to Fred, but also optimizing it for search engine. Or you can focus completely on the sales part of it, or you can also focus if you are really validating a new idea, you are into the new in the market, you can completely rely on the insights that you are injecting into it via AI. And then, of course, once you are done with this process, it's an iterative loop. You can go to level 2. You can again retrain the whole process, and you can make this process sharp and sharp. So as you move along, it get better and better. It learn itself, and this engine get more and more smarter. So this is very high level. I'll jump into it. As I said, it's a unique proposition. It's a comprehensive approach to create that virtual image of your Fred. I would say it's a game changing. At the same time, we are using our own proprietary method to connect the information from user to the content. So this should be a good understanding of what we are doing. Now we have different growth channels. We partnered with almost 35 affiliate at this stage. We are continuously increasing this number. We also are planning, already you saw us on the AppSumo. Upcoming, we are doing a pitch ground launch, especially on the yearly plans, because now we don't want to do any more LTD. And because of the obvious reason, everyone understand LTDs are not sustainable. These are recurring revenue loss for every company. So for the early adopters, for all affiliates, I think this make perfect sense that we now wholeheartedly support subscription-based business model. And it is in the interest of everyone who has joined us, from early adopters to later launch of the AppSumo, and those evangelists, I call, and you guys are evangelists here, Nas, Vinita. I think it's really important that you help now at this stage to become more subscription based business, because you understand that it's very difficult to sustain on the lifetime deals. and you are yourself in the business, so I'm sure you have this idea like the lifetime deals cannot be sustained anymore. Online marketing, of course, we have our inbound process. We are continuously increasing content creation using our own tool, and also we have set up outbound prospecting channels. So these just started to work for us, and I don't have right now numbers, but this will help definitely the affiliate channel, because more and more case studies, more and more testimonials we start getting here. It will really help you to showcase the unique selling point and value proposition of CrawlQ with respect to other people. Now, I don't need to go here detail, but I already explained that there is level 1. We're also running free trials. So by the way, if someone is interested on a demo, you can always route them through free trial. It starts with the basic plan. It has enough credit for them to experiment and learn the tool. And then, of course, depending on their need, if they are more into agency level, they can shift to and migrate to different higher plans. If they are more into self-individual copywriters working with a small number of clients, they can stay in the pro and premium plans. This is more for future roadmap, customer voices. So this was more on the side here, and now I will jump into the tool. So I have here different types of workspaces, and when I say workspace, what I mean is buyer persona workspace. So 3D printing is dedicated to one specific set of buyer persona. ADHD pain point, this is dedicated to a specific set of buyer persona. Imagine if you are in agency business. Let's take this example. If you are in an agency business and you are targeting customers into B2B copywriting, but the way I mentioned initially the two problems, one is rapid A/B testing, is directly in this small button here, which I have to make it more clear to everyone. So what happens once you have this workspace, you can clone it. Once you clone it, then you can change certain attributes or parameters. So if you are talking to, let's say, a student, and you wanted to shift to a, let's say, university level student, or you wanted to shift to, let's say, a teacher, right? So you're changing the attribute of that thread, and then you can rapidly test in the different workspaces without changing too much. I will take one example, and then I will explain this more once we go inside. So that was more rapid testing of the audiences. So if we move from one set of audience to other set of audience, we can simply clone this, because we are talking every time in one workspace about one single thread. Then the next step that I was saying is about how to map the journey of this thread. And that I will explain once we go inside. But let's start with one single workspace. Let's say, let's take this example of digital agencies. So digital marketing agency is a workspace, it's buyer persona workspace. That means we are a business, we are running a digital marketing agency business, and we are looking for a target audience. So when I say Fred, and I jump into market research, this was already pre-done. So level 1 is pre-done. And I have these 4 important dimensions: define your niche, demographics, semantics, psychographics. This is all what you need to do to power up Athena and everything to create quality content. This is like seeding process, but this seeding process is equal to like 80-20 principle in management. You have done already your 80% of the work once you have done this, because this is the base which power up Athena, and you can incrementally make it more and more smarter as you go. So niche is a digital marketing agency owner who want to become successful Saas marketer. We are targeting digital marketing agency owners. What we are doing here is we run the business. Let's say in this case, a software business, and we wanted to target digital marketing agency owner. So this is the workspace. We are talking about one single digital marketing agency owner who want to become successful with their SaaS marketing. Now, we narrow it down further. So we call B2B digital marketing agency owner who are new to SaaS and struggle with the SaaS business technicalities. And we are further narrowing it down. We are saying B2B advertising, paid traffic campaign, social media, SEO branding, or web design, or content marketing agency owner. I am I'm making it more specific in the sense that I'm still talking about one single person, but this single person is doing everything except SaaS marketing. So this is important to understand. And therefore, we are not narrowing it down in a sense which we end up with having a black swan or one single person, right? We are not isolating this. The way we are going from top niche, sub niche, micro niche, in this process, we are making sure that we still hold this bigger place, but we are talking about one single person who is doing everything except SaaS marketing. And this person wanted to specialize in SaaS marketing and move his business from this general digital marketing to SaaS marketing. So this should not be confusing. This is just way to make it more specific, from niche digital marketing agency owner to someone who is doing everything but wanted to go and specialize in SaaS marketing. The way to write this is quite unique, because we wanted to teach and learn AI as much as different types of words so it understand what we are doing. So this sort of starting is important, and generally many people get confused. They give either very small sentences or not enough seeding words or ideas. So that's why they don't get right results. And if we are very specific here, we say club these words into one, and then we are saying one single identification, that we are talking about this broad audience who wanted to specialize in something. Then this is very easy for these AI models to understand. And maybe we are going into here with into technical things, but the example are here. Also, there are more examples that we are putting, but this process is making it more specific from this person, one person, to more specific. Now, you also know one person that you can talk and take on a coffee date. Here, his name is not Fred, but Josh. He's a 37-year-old Maxim digital agency owner. He has been in the digital marketing agency field or industry for over 20 years, and has been his agency is running agency for the last 5 years. He wants to grow his client portfolio in SaaS marketing, but he lacks the domain knowledge in the SaaS niche and the ability to speak with authority on topics related to SaaS products and SaaS services or SaaS industry. You can make it as a story type of statement, more fluffy, more marketing language. More you make it simple, more you make in a more story mode. It will help us to create more language around it. Think of these three statements: niche, sub niche, micro niche is more who they are, what they want, what is their current situation and their pain point they are having a struggle. This is more like a formal statements, but here you can inject your own tone and voice as the copywriter, as a content creator, because here if you use some words which match with the tone and language of the person that you're talking, then AI understand that tone and language, and all the time when we generate these insights, it will represent that tone, that kind of nuances that you wanted to add as a writer. So it's good to make this storyline in a informal way, in more story way. You can use some words which looks like a story. For example, here it's written here: Fred, who is 37-year-old product design engineer, leads a team of developers, and not like he hasn't tried, or even maybe he lied to his boss that he can write blog posts. But now he is really sweating on his computer screen, trying to mouth out words for his next product launch landing page content. So if you see this example, right, this is wordy, this use some storytelling idea, it has some voice, some nuances, some type of tone, which directly talk to person who is a product design engineer. And he of course can lead the team of developers, and maybe he tried or even he lied to the boss that he can write sales copy. But now when it comes to the product design, sort of product launch date, he's really sweating behind his computer, trying to mouth out words. So if you follow this example, Then the AI understand the tone and language. So this specific part is really to have that tone and language injection or instruction to AI. And this is more formal part where you want to say who they are, what is their desire, and what they are struggling with. And you can sort of sum up this statement in a more specific way, starting from high level to more making it more specific. This is important. Once you save them, you can generate insights, and these insights way are used is to understand more deeper about your market. So it gives you a lot of ideas, topics, keyword, problems, pain point. You can generate them as many as time you can, or you can write your own specific ideas that you wanted to teach AI, because now these insights they are saved, they are AI generated, but you can also add your own ideas to it. And once we train Athena, these are also taken into account, all these insights. So this is your raw information. Based on this raw information, we generate insights. So if you see this process is making us more specific, right? More specific in the sense that it is taking our input. Once this input goes inside the AI is able to tell us exactly around more information around this, but you can also inject your own specific items to it. And that will help us to generate more and more information in a very, very specific way, in a controlled way around this persona. And now we can really go to the next step where we just need to answer two questions, your domain name, company name, and then rest of this information is filled with AI. When you say fill with AI, it automatically structure all your information and answer this question intelligently. Now, we have improved it quite a lot. Earlier, many people were complaining results were not good, but now they are getting more and more accurate. You don't need to spend a lot of time for the next processes. Once you are here, maybe take you 10 minutes to write down this information in a more rough way. You save it, generate insight. You can review this information again, rework on it. But the next steps are easier because you need to supply it only two types of input, fill with AI, and the rest of the information is structured for you. Similarly, with the semantics, you just say two inputs and then you say fill with AI, and it should be able to fill all these details. All the topics that you're targeting, it create intelligently the headlines that you need, sub headlines, niche headlines. And once you save it, you can generate insights and hear tons of other information that is really, really relevant for your research. And this, once you curate that, or you wanted to go through them, you wanted to add something here, but this information is also used as an training part of the Athena to later get more relevant results. And finally, the psychographics. Before I go there, I just wanted to again touch that point where in the beginning I said you should be able to map customer journey. So once you clone this workspace, like say we are now in the digital agencies, we can clone this workspace. Now we are talking about what is buyer persona, but in the next stage, when your customer understand what is buyer persona as a topic, maybe the customer want to understand what are the different tools available in the market, review of the tools available in the market, or let's say he's trying to consider one particular tool or set of framework in the market. So we can change from this what is buyer persona to how to use SEMrush to create your buyer persona, or how to use CrawlQ to use your buyer persona. Now I'm talking on middle of the funnel. What is the price of CrawlQ? Or what is the price of the SEMrush to do the buyer persona? Now I'm talking at the bottom of the funnel. This is the linking pin, this main topic of interest with the content and the training part. So you can grab more search intent data once you change this word. And this way you can easily sort of map your content goal. So if you're talking about top of the funnel, then you will say, what is buyer persona? And if you're talking on middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, you just need to change these variables. Rest of the information stays same because you're A/B testing. You don't want to change a lot of parameters at one time. But if you think, okay, the problem pain point also change, or the emotional triggers also change, then you can also change this single big desire, emotional payoff, which in most of the cases won't change that fast because we are still talking to same trade. We still has same problem. We have not resolved that problem. He is still looking for his current state to desired state, right? So all these problem emotions, desire, questions, results, roadblock, pain point, not necessarily changing from one step of the funnel to other step of the funnel, but you as an marketer who is setting this test is quite well aware of which parameter to change to quickly test different ways. And CrawlQ gives you that flexibility to just clone these workspaces, create content, and then rapidly test. I would like create 3 different workspaces, change this main topic of interest, generate my LinkedIn, Facebook, and blog post. Do it for 2 3 week, even 2 week. I will try to understand then what kind of engagement I'm getting, what kind of data I can see from analytics, is what kind of message is more resonating. But this way, it gives me more flexible approach to quickly test that audience. Is it help you to understand like how we can use CrawlQ to map the customer journey? Because I can go here in detail, but customer journey is essentially trying to understand different content goals and make this person from his unaware stage to aware stage.
Yes, it answers the question. It is very, very in depth, and I appreciate there's been a lot of refining from the early days.
Yeah.
It also seems very obvious to me that this is not really going to be for an entry-level marketer. I could be biased there, but I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of the user. Someone who's been in the search world, marketing world, will be familiar with terms such as long tail keywords, and that's right. One of the questions. Mm-hmm. So the average new user would not understand that. So there may be a little of an education needed. I'm sure you're probably considering how that could be done in the future, but you've got more important priorities right now. Right,
definitely. The way I see this tool will help more and more people who are already using tools like SEMrush, Longtail Pro, or content creation, or they are familiar with some sort of language. And that's why we are first trying to go to agencies, marketers, growth consultant, because for them, this approach and the language will be easy to grasp and understand and work on it. But of course, when you go to normal users, right, it's quite difficult for them to grasp all this idea and implement. So I fully understand that. And each step, everything that we are doing, we're trying to make it more and more simpler. So the next step for them could be that they just find out the first step here, digital marketing agency owner or whom they wanted to target, just their rough idea, and then intelligently in the background, all this information until here is filled. And that will be like push button approach and not necessarily giving the perfect output that they want, but still it will solve the problem of not learning everything here, but still getting the quality or the output or result with minimum effort. So kind of low hanging fruit and maximum impact, right? So we are progressing in that direction, basically, where we will be able to fine tune this information in a way where you just seed it with one idea, and based on the previous learnings, it should be able to fill most of the information for you. So hopefully this will bring more and more normal user also into the place, because they don't need to then bother about what is long tail topic and things like that.
Sure. Thank you. Harish, one more question. So all this content here, I presume this has been manually entered.
So this is this information, this is manually entered until here. Rest is we're just using the fill with AI option. So all this information.
How far in to this research and resonance section would a user need to go before they can start getting good intelligence by using the fill with AI button? I mean, they wouldn't start filling their AI. They would not use fill with AI for defining their niche, right? They would need to. Yeah. They would need to put that in themselves. So, at what stage would would you think that they could start using the fill with AI on this part?
The first step only. They only need to fill niche, sub-niche, micro-niche, vertical, ideal prospect, and follow these examples. This is the only step they have to do manually.
Yeah.
Rest of the information, like this information and your company name, here two information, and then you can use fill with AI. Here again, the two information, and then you can use fill with AI. So you don't need to fill everything by hand. Tool itself will produce the desired structure and outcome of this information in a way which is quite useful for generating insights also. Sure. So this information lead and seed to these insights. And these insights you can, of course, train on them, review on them. If you are into research mode, then you can fine tune these inputs to make them better. But if you're like grab and just board the plane and fly in the mode, right? Yeah. Then you just need to fill this information, initial information, by talking to a real life person, or just you have imaginary person that you think is best representation of who you want to sell. I think this is a basic expectation you can have from user. If a user have no idea like who is writing for or who is the right person to talk to, then I guess any kind of tool is useless in that way, right?
That's correct.
So you have to have a basic like business and problem solution space where you are operating. If I'm talking about roof repairs, I'm not suddenly talking about the problem of this person's dishwasher or like another problem that he's facing, right? I'm really talking about roof repairs. I'm talking to plastic surgeon as in problem solution, and I'm really talking about the issues and struggles and the opportunities within that niche, right? And as long as a person is aware of this, then this really help and steer the AI in the right direction. So only this information is needed. We call this kind of niche one or level one research with your initial inputs, demographics, semantics, psychographics. And this level two is reserved for advanced level, where you wanted to make it more and more refinement. You wanted to create your business strategy around this. Once you have, of course, tested your audience and also you know where to go, right? So that's quite important difference between this level and this level. You wanted to test your message first. You wanted to do the audience test. You wanted to also do an content strategy test, whether everything is working or not. Even if you are a user who don't do this test, still this is important because you will seed the AI with relevant information for all your content creation. You are not necessarily mandatory or obligatory to do this research, right? It's not everyone is doing, not everyone is comfortable, not everyone is knowledgeable on that. So it will take time, but for people who are professional in this, they can also use this approach to test audience, to set up different stages of customer journey. Those who are novice, they are just normal users. For them also, this is a good learning, and they will learn a lot about their own business if they follow this process. Because everything that you spend or time here, you're learning more and more, and you're challenged and you're validating if you're in the right direction. So this research is really important for CrawlQ, and this research will really help us to create very, very sharp content that we wanted to be very, very specific to that tone, voice, and the aspects of that thread that we have created. And once you are up with this level, right, it normally prompt you to train Athena. But since we already did these steps, is here the main dashboard here. On the main dashboard, when I say niche, data is by default turned on. So all your market research steps and insights, this will be trained using this niche or this option. Optionally, you can also pull the search intent data, or you can also add URL. When I say search intent data, then it allows you to add up to 10 positions or top rankings with respect to the main topic of interest that you have. So what is your buyer persona? That was our topic. Of course, we can display that main topic of interest here, so user always remember that. Or you can also, it's not optional, but also in addition to this, you can also add a specific URL that you think is relevant for that thread, for that content that you are creating, right? Once you do that, you power up Athena. That means you are training Athena on niche data, on search intent data, and on the specific information that you are giving this to Athena. Once you train the Athena, in this case, is already trained, so we don't need to do. What you have done in principle is you have created your own Google inside your own workspace. So this AI assistant Athena, you can test it here. You can ask it any information, single big desire. It understands that I'm asking the single big desire in the specific context of that persona that I have created for digital marketing agency, that Josh, 37-year-old. And here all the information is pulled up from market research. How can I create great website for my SaaS clients so they get tons of right traffic and conversion? I want to grow my client portfolio. That was the statement that is getting picked up from the research that we have done. If we have picked up search intent also, of course, we can ask any type of question. It was also on the search of how to create buyer persona, for example, how to create buyer persona. So what you're seeing here, basically, again, from the market research and information is also, see, it is also pulling the information from the top ranking topics, like find out how buyer persona can improve the effectiveness of your social media advertising efforts, and learn how to build persona in a few minutes or second. But this is important because then AI understand what to do with this information. Buyer persona features buyer persona feature an intersection of demographic information, including factors such as blah blah blah. Now AI understand how to pull this information when we ask in the content creation this question, and how to use this information in a way which will be contextual with respect to our thread that we are working on. So there are different sources, as I explained: niche data, search intent data, your own URL that you can inject into it. And this all information is contained as a unique source, or as a golden source of truth inside your own workspace, that particular workspace dedicated to that thread. And this is very unique, your own unique. You don't want to contaminate it. You don't want to pollute it with rest of the other information. You don't want to make it like a Wikipedia type of information, because it is unique to what you are doing. If you're agency owner, you have 20 different clients, you wanted to give them unique content, and this unique content will only happen if we capture all their business information, niche, sub niche, micro niche, some relevant information. We power up Athena, we pull some data relevant to it, and we can quickly set up our client projects if you're working as an agency owner, because then you can have 20 different clients. Most of the time problem with the agency is very hard to negotiate a scope of what you wanted to achieve with agency. Also, every time if the results are not good, you don't have a parameter KPI, how to rely on which information, right? If you set up your clients as an agency here with different workspaces, you can definitely have end-to-end visualization of their information, and also go back to them and explain them, hey, this is the process we are following. For agencies, I think this is quite useful to start with. And also normal users, solopreneurs, freelancers, business consultants, they should also have very good way to work with their customers if they wanted to give them, very specific results on their strategy. So I will jump into this content part. So I will pull something which was already created. So let's say here there are different types of way you can automate. You can also go towards the sales copywriting wizard, where you can generate a lot of sales letters, emails, webinar content. You can generate YouTube video scripts, or you can generate another type of ideas where you're creating teaching course outline, and inside them there are different types of sort of scripts or sales copywriting scripts. For example, these are popular copywriters: Ray Edwards, Pester Formula, course promotion, sales letter, David Frey. These are kind of sales letters designed by popular copywriters based on their formulas. Now it's just a single click button. So you just click here, go to next, and you feed in some information here, and then you will have a sales letter written like this. Or maybe let me pull this information. These were the emails, that auto responsive email that were created using this program, using this script. If I go back.
Sorry, quick question. I've noticed, well, not noticed, recently I've been experiencing lots of emails coming in from you guys. Really, really good content. Are you using CrawlQ for that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
There are some sequences of email that I'm using specifically for recent email, which is 5 series email. And it's really structured well because it has like problem, pain point, and steps.
Yeah. I was very impressed with that. There's a lot of emotional triggering going on in the content. So it's good to know that you're using what you sell.
Definitely. And this is an example of a sales letter. You can pull through it just in push a button, and this is almost like 80% ready. And of course, then you can pull triggers of Athena. You can say, write me Athena, ask me Athena, expanding on these items. There are several tools here. Basically, you can generate captions, you can generate headline introductions, you can further create more structures, more bullet points, or if you're writing a blog, H1 tag, H2 tag. So for example, here the topic was how to transition to a successful SaaS marketer. And now, based on this seed idea, we are getting very interesting, like emotionally triggering headlines. Transitioning to a SaaS marketer, tips to succeed. We asked a leading SaaS marketing expert to share his advice on creating successful SaaS growth plans. 5 tips to transition to the marketer of SaaS. How top SaaS marketing things work, predict their future. Now, see, these are not like traditional type of headlines. These are really catchy, trending headlines, which are trying to grab the attention of your target audience. And I am really emphasizing to everyone that these headlines are really important, because if you can't grab the attention in the first 3-4 seconds, whatever hard work you're putting here is no use, because they are not going to read through it. And maybe this is already too much. You wanted to break it down into different micro content. So I'm not saying you use the sales script and not ideas that you publish it as it is. No, I'm saying use this big script, chop it down in as many as slices as you think, attach these emotional triggering headlines and post them into social media, right? This is something that people might understand, or they will identify their own use case, but it is important to understand and also communicate like that, because the content are traditionally structured on the basis of the arguments that are normal in the sales letter. But it's hard nowadays to publish a sales letter and expect that everyone is going to read your sales letter. So nowadays people are still using the idea of the sales letter, but they are really chopping it down into either snippets, social media post, or as call to actions. And you can break this down into different pieces on your website. So this was kind of sales related content. I focused more on the AI content writer. You can really create the blog related content. The process, I guess, is more or less same. For example, I'll pick up here. So when you supply the initial information, it can already come up with an outline like this. So starting point, the second headline, third headline, fourth headline. This is all step one single short generation from here until the end. So we are already getting like 500 to 600 words of outline. This is, I would be undervaluing it if I call this outline, because this is already a good piece of information that you can publish on your social media, like 600 words, 700 words. And now you have several tools here, as I showed before, these headline generation, intros, content coach to structure it. You can summarize the information, you can add here You can also see back all your market research back here. So traditionally, if you remember how the content tool works, they create some kind of content brief for their content writer, right? You use keywords, you create content brief, and then this brief is used someone who is more expert in optimizing things and write the content. You don't need content brief because all the information is here available to you. You just pick this relevant information, one pain point, you grab this, you put it here, and then ask, write me Athena or ask me Athena, and you keep developing this. So this is almost like a well structured information. You can treat this as a content brief, and also we will be adding insights here. So your initial information and insights are there, but you can also consume your competitor content here. All this information with this topic, what is buyer persona, is all trending, like ranking content, like first one from the HubSpot, second one from the social media today, blah blah blah. You can all like consume this content in a very easy manner. So what you do is like you expand this from this window, you convert this information into intelligent questions. So in the AI reads this information, convert them into questions, and now you can answer those questions in relation to your Fred research. So when it's just like you're answering them for your Fred, not from here. And as you go down the research, you pick up the relevant paragraph which makes sense of what you are writing, and then once you get this question, you can just ask the answer from AI. And you will notice here, when the question is close-ended, it will have a short answer. When the question is open-ended, of course, it will have a broad answer. It really depends on what we are asking. We can edit this also and make this in the way we want. But the all competitor content you can consume as a part of your research, and not you want to copy them, but you wanted to get ideas from them. You wanted to get inspiration from them just for the concepts. So you turn this content into question concepts, and then you answer them basically using your own information that is on which Athena is trained. You can see all the topics that you need to cover for this. If the questions are coming from Quora, also here, all the relevant news items related to this topic is here. And then in addition to this, of course, you can ask Athena to be on a specific mode. So if you wanted to only use the information which was in the market research, you can choose this option. If you want to have information also from market insight, you can choose this option. If you don't want from market insight, but only from the sales copywriting, you can choose this information. It has different use cases for different purposes. So if you wanted to have fully optimized article for search engine, then I would just say market research is by default, and then you turn on the search intent, and then whatever you are writing, the information that is getting pulled up by Athena is always based on those ranking information, top ranking information, and your own market research. So you're sort of doing the buyer persona optimized SEO article here. But if you don't want to SEO optimization, but you're writing a sales letter, or you're writing an email, or you're writing a specific social media post, then you don't want to contaminate this information which what is available here, but very specific to your own research. You can choose this option. So you see there are different modes inside it. And if you're not how to say, if you're not comfortable with this approach where you need to figure out things, you can also work with template. So when I say template, there are different types of template for different purposes, like blog post template. Even there are templates for automating your outbound prospecting. So here, for example, Facebook or LinkedIn short social media post template, or discovery call template, or LinkedIn cold prospecting template. The template works in easier way. So what you do is you open one of the template and you copy this template. These templates, I need to mention this, that these templates are adapted from HubSpot, their public repository of best performing blog post templates. So we adapted from HubSpot, and this is publicly available. And when we adapted, we rewrote them in a way which work with Athena. So when I give the instruction to Athena, write a headline of 60 character or less, then it exactly write that headline. When I say Athena introduction, it will write introduction. When I select single big desire and say write me Athena, it will write me exactly what is single big desire, and then I can expand on this. So this is also best way to just take this information and structure your entire blog post using this structure.